Do you see any parallels between how the lesbian and gay community were treated back then to the debate about trans rights, trans people today?
I do a bit. I see some of the tone and some of the language used about trans people, the misunderstandings, and they remind me of some of the stuff that went on in the 80s with gay and lesbian people. Some of the moves that we're seeing now, for example, by the government to kind of try to sort of discourage teachers and schools from discussing these issues or allowing children to discuss them in an open and honest and fair way. And that does worry me, because if anything, trans people are an even more set upon minority than lesbian and gay people were back then. No one would choose to be trans necessarily. There are lots and lots of difficulties and problems you face in that situation. And I just think to have such a lot of anger and prejudice and bile expressed in some of our mainstream media on a daily basis must be really, really tough. And we have a trans godson who was very, very ill as a young girl, and we nearly lost her. And she transitioned in her late teens. He is now a happy, well-balanced young man getting on with his life. And I just wish sometimes that people will come together and discuss these things with people who've got that lived experience, because I think so much of the commentary we see is not based on lived experience, is not based on having listened to the people who are in that situation. And I think if perhaps more people did, we'd have more tolerance and more mutual understanding.
Do you think we're a long way from getting a trans member of parliament?
I hope not. Quite a lot of other liberal democracies have had trans members of parliament. And I hope that that's something that will happen soon. I think the statistics are probably mitigate against it, because we're talking about a really very small proportion of the population, and it's difficult enough, I think, for trans people just to get on with their lives, let alone going through the process of standing for parliament. But I think we've got trans people in local government, and hopefully in my lifetime, and maybe sooner than that, we'll have a trans member of parliament. And I think we'll see what happened when we had a lot of gay and lesbian people coming into parliament in the 1990s, that suddenly the public discourse changed and we live in a completely different world now.